And when you get that result, you get some enjoyments. When you are hungry, it is actually a pain feeling. When you eat, you get the pleasure feeling. You enjoy the food. You enjoy that feeling. And after the enjoyment is at the present moment. After that present moment has passed, then you recall and store it as an experience. After the experience, the mind is nothing but a biomagnetic wave which stores any experiences that we get through our five senses, and it retrieves and replays at any time. It recalls and it even researches. Okay, so if I eat a spicy pepper, it will give me hot taste. So next time I should eat mild spicy food. So it recognizes, it researches, then it realizes, then it performs a conclusion. So these are the 10 stages of the mind. The only difference between the human and other living beings are the non-humans have up to 7 stages, whereas only the humans have the potential of fulfilling and going up to the 10 stages. That is what is giving us the 6th sense. Now based on this, now if we look at what causes the desires, because of the 3 sensations, 3 natural sensations we get, the mind takes shape and the mind drives thoughts, and thoughts in turn it transforms into desires. When the thought takes shape, volume, time and distance, then it becomes desires. And there are only 6 roots of the thoughts. It will be either based on the need, habit, circumstance, influence, or heredity, or divinity. Now, the desires will also arise based on these are the 5 common routines every living being does, at least the humans. Food, work, rest, sex, and use of thought force. So desires will arise around these 5 routines. Now based on this, if you look at what are the different types of desires, if we can classify them based on the 3 needs, the hunger, or due to the climatic variation, you need some clothes, you need shelter, or due to the excretory forces, you need some facilities, you need some commodities, you need some help. So based on that, there are only 3 types of desires you will need. It will be based on the material desires, or property desire, or the manly desires. So this is another way to look at the different, recognize the different types of desires, natural and necessary. These desires have to be fulfilled. You cannot avoid it. If these basic desires are not fulfilled, that will result in suffering. And second one is the unnatural but necessary. Because of the modern lifestyle, we need, some things have become essential, like our cell phone, computers, internet. Some other type of desires are natural, but they are unnecessary. For example, if you are feeling hungry, you just need some basic food. You don't have to go to an expensive restaurant and eat all types of food in a buffet and spoil your health. That is not required. That is an unnecessary desire. And the fourth one is unnatural and unnecessary. These are based on basically power, wealth, fame, and sensual pleasures. If these are not moderated, if it goes beyond limit, that causes troubles. Now, the consciousness, it took form, the totality, due to the inherent force and consciousness, it became into a functioning state and took forms. And because of the natural process of evolutionary path that we have come along, we have developed two psychic qualities. One is aggression. Aggression is all about I, self-imaging, power. And second psychic quality is possession. It's all about materials, properties. In other words, these two qualities are called as ego. And that comes when you have the duality perception. When you recognize you are non-dual, then you won't have the ego. And as a result of this duality concept, consider these two, aggression and possession, as a parent, as a couple. These couple give birth to 6 unwanted child, 6 temperaments. They are greed, anger, miserliness, immoral sexual passion, then vanity and vengeance. And these have developed in succession. For example, because of the basic needs, desires existed that cannot be avoided. But because of the separation from the totality, we tried to accumulate more and more. We wanted to desire more and more. That desire turned into greed. And when there is an abstraction to fulfilling that greed, it will lead to anger. When you keep on accumulating the materials, then it leads to miserliness. And we all have accumulated all this from our ancestors. For example, ant. You all have seen ants. Ants take small pieces of grains. They keep on storing. And if you ever experience, if you go and abstract that, it will bite you because of the anger. So this is how we all accumulated and inherited these qualities from our ancestors. And if that desire leads to the manly pleasures, then it will lead to the immoral sexual passion. And that causes inequality. I am the biggest, I am the lowest, superiority and inferiority complex. And that controlled anger leads to vengeance. And these 6 temperaments lead to 5 sinful actions. If you take any crime anywhere around the world, they can be classified into one of these 5 sinful actions. So how do we overcome this? How do we get out of this? We have a simple process called introspection, that is self-analysis, reflection, through which you can analyze your thoughts, you can identify what are the roots, moralize your thoughts, because the thoughts will take form and shape and lead to actions. Moralization of desires, and you can neutralize anger, you can completely eradicate worries. Then only you can achieve self-realization. These are all developmental process. So, how to manage these desires? Simply, you have to use your mind, because these desires, these 6 temperamental moods have evolved from mind, and it needs to be resolved by mind. I'll just quickly go over how to do this. So after you perform your mind calmness, meditation practices, or any other method that you are already following, sit, relax, quiet, and list out the desires you have. And then ask yourself, are these desires essential? If no, then conclude the desire. This is not required. If it is essential, then follow and check, is it feasible through physically or mentally or even financially? If no, again conclude it. If yes, then consider the effects, after effects of this, fulfilling these desires. If it becomes harmful, not beneficial, again conclude it. If it 100% gives beneficial, then you go on to the next stage of selecting those desires that you have filtered out and then prioritize them, then develop a plan and develop and acquire the skills or resources needed to fulfill them, execute on it, and enjoy those. So here is a simple table that gives you to exercise, practice this exercise. Do this on a daily basis. Just 10-15 minutes spend on it, and you'll be able to, if you do this within 2 weeks, you'll be able to reduce the number of lists. The amount of desires you have is the distance to your God. If you reduce it, you are closer to God. So, again, to summarize, Karma Yoga is the way of living. And you know 3 simple formulas. If you want, you can take this in your notes. Before you do anything, any mental or verbal or physical actions, question yourself, will it cause any harm to self or to others, to the body or mind, at present or in the future? Just apply this simple concept and you will be leading a virtuous way of life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. By the grace of divine bliss, may we all enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, prosperity, happiness, and peace. Thank you. I don't know if we have time for questions.
We do have 5 minutes time for questions. So if you have any questions or comments, they are welcome. Thank you, Mr. Kodandaraman, for summarizing the message of Bhagavad Gita, which said, Dhyayate Vishayan Pusaha Sangasteshu Pajayate. You leave your senses undisciplined again, then you develop an attachment to that. Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha, that attachment leads to lust. Kamat Bhavati Sammohaha, so you get into delusion. Sammohat Bhavati Smritinasho, you lose your memory of all past things that happened with all of that uncontrolled desire, and then Smritinashat Pranashyati, so finally you lead to your own destruction. So thank you for summarizing that in a wonderful presentation. So looks like everybody has got rid of their desire to ask questions. So thank you for that application of the yoga right away. So we want to thank you once again for coming and presenting here. And I can see the smiles on all of the knowledgeable yogis and Vaidyas here. So